was 17, I drank some very good beer.
Do you have your Homer Simpson beer opener?
No.
Oh, you top the beer off and it goes, beer. Oh, it's so good.
This is what Dawn needs today. This is how you start your live eye off in style on a Friday.
Exactly. What was the beer for The Simpsons? It was what, Duff beer or something, right?
Duff beer, yeah.
Duff beer. We're doing something a little more crafty right now as we get ready for Craft Beer Week, which kicks off today, runs through the 7th. This is a newer one for you, Graham?
Yeah, this is our craft lager. It's our hyper-local East Van lager. We use local malts and hops out in Chilliwack.
Excellent. Okay, so we're brewing beer this morning here at Parallel 49, once again getting ready for Craft Beer Week. So let's break it down. What makes beer here?
So there's the 4 ingredients for beer: water, hops, malt, and yeast. So we got 3 of them right here. And this is pretty much our dissected craft lager. We have our Pilsner malt, our Munich malt, which gives it a kind of breadiness. And then the green stuff here in the pellets is our hops.
So this is the stuff that when someone says, oh, that's a really hoppy beer.
Yeah, that's the aroma you're going to be smelling.
Okay.
It's very bitter, so you don't want to eat it on its own. And then this concoction here is our yeast, which is going to ferment the beer.
Excellent. Now we have obviously lots of different, what are these called, like barrels or vats, or what do you call them?
We call these fermenters.
Okay. But from this point, what happens here?
This is our mash tun. So this is the start of our brewing process. All the barley gets crushed and hydrated in here and mixed up, and that's where our sugars are going to form.
So once we get from that point, how long until we're actually drinking something out of a can or a bottle?
Well, our brew day takes about a day to fill a fermenter, and then after the fermenter, it's about 3 weeks.
And we have some exciting news too, because you were saying that you actually, number every beer?
Every time we brew a batch, we get a number, and this today is number 2000.
Number 2000. Craft Beer Week is on right now through the 7th. Obviously, there's so many different events that are happening. You'll want to go to the website for more details. Graham, we're going to be kind of here throughout the morning. You're going to take us through the process, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about beer. You guys play a lot of music here when you're working. What's your theme song?
Usually we're listening to some old-time soul music in the mornings.
I love it. Getting inspired. We're into Craft Beer Week, so here at Parallel 49 Brewing Company, it's all about quality control. So this looks like a little of more of a cloudy beer than
it's a little murky. So every day as the ferments go on, we have to take a sample, smell it, maybe a little taste, and make sure the fermentation is going well.
How would you know? So for someone who's inexperienced, would it taste overly hoppy? Would it taste too acidic? How would I know it's not quite ready?
Usually if it has a little bit of acidic bite, you got a problem. Maybe you have some weird aromas that shouldn't be in beer, you'll have a problem, but usually it's kind of pleasant and nice.
Okay, and from there, what happens?
Well, we want to get it clear, right? Have a nice clear beer. So we opted to buy a centrifuge for our beer as opposed to a filter. This guy brings the beer in and spins it around really fast, kind of like a fair ride where you get pushed to the wall. And all the yeast gets pushed out, and we end up with a very clear beer after it leaves the centrifuge.
Okay, so then we obviously have all the, I keep forgetting what these are called. Are they called like barrels or vats or?
These are fermenters, and then after this, it goes to a bright beer tank, bright being clear.
Okay, and so we've got Scott that's over there right now, and he's going to pour us something that's a little more clear. Now, as he's doing that, I mean, Parallel 49 Brewing Company is so famous for all the really cool flavors and varieties of beer. At what point are you adding those elements, those flavor elements?
Usually in the brew house, but something say like our tricycle rattler with the grapefruit, we want to retain that grapefruit flavor. So it goes in right before we package it to get all that big grapefruit flavor in it.
Fantastic. Now we've got Scott here. Scott, first of all, best job ever.
Yeah, this is the best job ever. I love my job.
No kidding, beer all the time. So here's what it basically looks like, the difference, right?
So you can see the difference here. One's nice and murky, and one's a nice clear beer that you'd enjoy at a pub.
So I would enjoy at a pub or here at Parallel 49. By the way, Craft Beer Week on now through the 7th of June. I'm thinking the weather's going to be perfect for a beer like this,
It seems to be, yeah.
Okay, we're getting ready for Craft Beer Week. We've been brewing, we've been doing quality control. Where are we right now, Graham?
We're in our bottling hall. So we saw the finished beer in a tank, and now our job is to get it into bottles and get it out the door.
And this is like, I mean, it's not running right now because we're sort of just a little bit ahead of production right now, but this is where we're really seeing what we all sort of remember, that whole Laverne and Shirley thing, right? But it's not, it's definitely got a bit more high tech.
Yeah, we've got a brand new bottling line, way more high high tech and all automated, and we run at about 200 bottles a minute.
Wow, that's incredible. And again, you know, you have several different varieties here. We're getting ready for Craft Beer Week. I bet you it's going to start up as soon as we're finished, Jody and Riaz. I'll try to see if I can get some video and post it on Twitter a little bit later as it starts to run. But coming up just before 9 o'clock, we're going to take a look at some of the offerings here at Parallel 49 Brewing Company, and also some of the great events and offerings for Craft Beer Week, which is on now through the 7th. We got more coming up just before 9 o'clock. Well, it's Craft Beer Week, so we thought we'd make our way to Parallel 49 Brewing Company, where you have quite a few beers here, Graham. Do you have a favorite? I mean, you're the brewmaster, so is it like a child?
It really depends on the day. You know, whatever's the freshest usually works for me.
Excellent. So maybe talk us through a little bit about what you've just poured here.
Yeah, this is our summertime beer. It's our Radler called Tricycle. It's a lower alcohol fruit beer, so it's got a lot of grapefruit character to it.
So that's like on a hot day like today, that would be a great option for somebody that maybe is planning to sit out on a patio.
Yeah, and you can enjoy a lot more than just a few without getting a little tipsy.
And when people are sitting there and pairing food with beer, are there any hard and fast rules? I think of wine. People think of wine always as pairing, but what's a great fit? I mean, it's not just about nachos and beer.
Yeah, usually the hops are the spice of the beer, so they go well with spicier food. So that's a good rule. Curries and IPAs go really well together. And then the lighter beers kind of go with lighter stuff like fish.
Fantastic. Well, we're getting ready, obviously, for Craft Beer Week. So, Paul, this is, you know, it's almost like Christmas. It's like the most wonderful time of the year. Isn't it the most wonderful time of the year?
It sure is. It's a perfect way to start the summer.
And in Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, really, and much of the island, we're really leading the way as far as craft beer.
Absolutely. We have so many fantastic breweries. There's over 20 that are opening up this year alone. So it's just been explosive, the growth of craft beer in BC.
And we are here again for Craft Beer Week, which is on now through the 7th. So what kinds of events can people take in?
There are all kinds of events. We try to create a very eclectic, different group of events so that there's something for everyone. Our opening is tonight at the Roundhouse, which unfortunately is sold out. But we do have some other tickets still available, and the big festival is at the Peony Fairgrounds this year, which we're really excited about. And that's on Saturday, June 6th and Sunday, June 7th.
So you've got a pretty great job working obviously with Craft Beer Week, but I think of Graham. Graham, how did you get into brewing beer?
I started off with a love of drinking beer, of course. And then throughout university, it was a cheap way to have a beer, is to make my own. And that's how I got into the idea of making my own beer.
Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. For more details and scheduling on Craft Beer Week, you can, of course, check out the website. And regardless of where you drink your beer, make sure you get home safely.